what's a common mistake that you see when it comes to salespeople, when it eventually moves into the sales cycle and they might lose that sale? Is there a common mistake that you see in that?
I think the common mistake is being a self-centered salesperson than a service-centered or customer-centered salesperson. So I think a lot of us, whether be it at cold call, roadshow, even sales presentation in a corporate, is that you hear a lot of salespeople start speaking without, true concern of what the customer's needs are, the issues and possible solutions. So then there comes a mismatch and you are offering things that people may not need, and then you are taking up unnecessary time and resources. So then it calls for unnecessary rejection as well, right? Because after you have done your sales pitch, you realize that there is a mismatch. So unfortunately, then salespeople have been perceived as being pushy because they are more eager to close the deal than to take care of the customer's problems.
Yeah, really interesting. Like I've heard a lot of people talk about that. Like they've been more around just trying to go for the sale or start talking about the products and features. Why do you think some salespeople do that?
Okay, to be honest, sometimes it's just they're not aware. So actually the common problem is when you're new on a job, if you're a fresh graduate, you will tag along with your senior or your boss, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they will probably be the one to guide and do the presentation. And then when you're left on your own, you don't have any checkpoint, and sometimes you just make such mistakes, and it become repeated mistakes. Or sometimes the superior may not be aware that this is not the most ideal way of selling. So for me, I was fortunate because one of the territory manager actually highlighted that don't open your laptop, don't give your brochure, sit down, ask about the customer's business, show interest first before you present yourself. So this is one of the key learning points, which I find was very powerful. So technically, especially from people from technology, whether it's ICT, manufacturing, because we have got this pride thing, right? We are very proud of our innovation technology, and we're so eager to share, but it may not fit. So I have gone through like certain presentation where the sales personnel just list 10 features, but honestly, actually 1 or 2 killer points would just do the job, because when you understand, you just go focus and dig into 1 or 2 benefits or differentiator and features.
Yeah, I like when you said that. You said a number of things, right? You said, well, partly have to do with experience, the inexperience, sorry, of the young salesperson coming into the game, understanding, not only understanding the product, but understanding the psychology around like human development and behavioral development. But also one thing that you've kind of picked up, or you mentioned, which I picked up, sorry, is having a mentor, having a good role model, having a good sales teacher with you. And I think something that I see is missing quite a lot, especially when I talk to young salespeople, and they might have been fixated on the allure, sorry, of startups, and they're now like the business development manager of this young up and coming startup, but they have no real mentors around them to help them when it comes to either developing a sales pitch or even closing it, because typically the founders would actually do that. So for a lot of small businesses, like it's typically the boss that would close that deal, and then you have like these business directors who are quite junior in comparison to the boss or comparison to other senior management. They're kind of stuck, and it's a bit of a sink or swim. And some people thrived on it. Like I've seen some people who had 0 sales experience and they've come into a role, and they've applied themselves really, really well, and over time, in a short amount of time, they've been able to get results in a really methodic type of way, and be able to have impact, especially when they're servicing their current clients, but also acquiring new and existing clients or existing services with that as well. So